Well, hello, good afternoon, magandang hapon, magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat for our friends and kababayan all the way in the Philippines. And if you're in the United States, wherever you are, it's either afternoon or good evening. Aloha and mabuhay. My name is Rose Mendoza, Executive Director for the HP Back. And of course, this month's what is this stock story, it's usually the first Wednesday of the month, but July just went and came and left, and now it's August. So we want to say thank you for being here with us this afternoon in the spirit of Bayanihan, helping our J1 teachers adjust to Hawaii is a community conversation today, and we have great panelists that will be talking to you about their experiences, how you can get into the program, how the program is going, and just a lot of different streamline of how to do these J1 teachers, because I know it's a great topic right now. So we wanted to go ahead and do that. But first, of course, today is August 7, and we wanted to talk to you about the spirit of Bayanihan, and we want to let you know what HP Beck is all about. What is HP Beck? HP Beck is Hawaii Philippines Business and Economic Council. We were organized for charitable and educational purposes. The HP Beck facilitates the exchange of information and direction between Hawaii and the Philippines to strengthen its business and economic development links. And we advocate for and on behalf of residents who consider both Hawaii and Philippines as home. Of course, today, this is our links from our kababayans in the Philippines to talk about J1. And just to let you know, this is our fourth season actually of doing our talk stories. These are the different topics that have been done for the last 4 years. And we're so proud of our community of being involved. And today we are going to be talking about our J1 teachers in the spirit of Bayanihan. This talk story is hosted by HP Beck, usually on the first Wednesday, as I said, of every month. We are on our fourth season covering various topics of interest for those who consider Hawaii and the Philippines as home, and of course, have business or personal interest in the Philippines and who are dual citizens. And if you are dual citizens, this is a perfect platform. We ask that you contact us and for us to help you get some of your information out in our community. HP Back again is a nonprofit corporation, and is governed by an 11-member board. We have partnered with the Filipino Chamber of Commerce of Hawaii to highlight issues that affect Philippines Hawaii links, and one of which is the workforce. During the current term of our president, Dr. Melody Calise, she established a committee to focus on this issue and encourage community organizations concerned with the needs of J1 teachers to join this conversation today. I know that our president, Dr. Calise, is on the Zoom, so I wanted to say hello to her, and then I wanted her to kind of like tell us what her platform this year before we move on to our talk story. President Calise, are you here?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes,
Oh,
ma'am.
okay. Hi, everyone. I am the current president of the Filipino Chamber of Commerce of Hawaii. Actually, we just started this committee, workforce committee, led by our moderator now, Attorney Rhoda Alvarez. Actually, as a business person, I know how important it is to get qualified workers, not only all of from the Philippines that you can really trust. And that's why I really was very aggressive in putting this workforce as part of the FCCH committee. And what we're doing actually is to help collaborate with other government, other agencies, Filipino agencies, to, will serve as a conduit to navigate this very complex process of hiring Filipinos from the Philippines. Actually, it's not complex as long as you work hard because me myself was able to hire Filipinos in the Philippines, from the Philippines, and working to me right now on a working visa. So there's nothing impossible as long as you know the process, you know the person. HPBEC is here. You can come to me so we can help you navigate this very complex. For me, it's complex, but you can do it as long as you work hard and you know the right person. That's all I can say for now, and good luck to everyone.
Thank you, Dr. Kalisay, and congratulations again for being taking the helm of the president of the Filipino Chamber of Commerce. And I know that you have a lot of projects moving forward. I wanted to kind of introduce our moderator who's going to be kind of moving us along. And to moderate today's discussion is the chair of the Workforce Committee of the Filipino Chamber. She is also a past president of the Filipino Association of University Women, and she's actually our legal counsel for HPBEC and also a director for the Filipino Chamber of Commerce of Hawaii. Rhoda Yavas Alvarez has been admitted to participate law in Hawaii, New York, and in the Philippines. She earned her JD at Ateneo de Manila University and Master of Laws in Commercial and Corporate Law at the University of London. She chairs the workforce committee established by the Filipino Chamber of Commerce of Hawaii to address the statewide demand for recruiting qualified workers from the Philippines to fill the staff requirements across various industries and services. I know there's a lot of different industries, not just, of course, Department of Education. So here she is. I wanted to pass on the baton and go for it, Attorney Rhoda Alvarez.
Maraming salamat. Thank you to our Executive Director of the HPSEC, Ms. Rosemary Mendoza. Magandang hapon, magandang umaga to all of our viewers and whoever's tuned in to Facebook. I just posted that we're having this now live. So para po sa mga nakikinig, invite your friends if they're interested to come here. I'd like to recognize, of course, our current president with the Filipino Chamber of Commerce of Hawaii. Melody, I was telling Melody when she created this committee, sabi ko, bagay na bagay sa'yo to, Melody, because you're in the business of importation of goods. But now your focus is also in importation of services to the state of Hawaii and into the US. So with this advocacy, through HPBEC, through FCCH, and through our individual advocacies, we know that what we're trying to do is not only help the employers here, but also empower our kababayans in the Philippines who would like to explore the opportunity of how it is to work in the United States. And noon nga, in the beginning, you know, we were very proud if we were educated by the Americans in the Philippines, and that would be in the 19th century. The first teachers in the Philippines that were accredited for, sabi nga nila, as a benevolent assimilation by the United States to the Philippines are the Thomasites. So they sent about 600 teachers to the Philippines. Now we're in 2024, and we've started to bring Filipinos over from the Philippines to the United States. So it's a full circle. And with our speakers today, we will be tackling what the experience is for those who have been teaching here, those who have just come in as teachers here under the J1 program, those who have been welcoming the teachers here and sharing the Filipino experience in the diaspora, and those who have been working to keep these teachers here because of an advocacy that has developed from this program. So starting off with our speakers, but first we'll have some house rules. So we'll have the speakers speak first about their topics, and then we'll reserve all the questions and answers through the chat. So you can put all your questions in the chat, and then we'll read them after all the speakers have spoken, so we can address those questions. And if you wanted to direct your question to a specific speaker, can you please say in the chat to, like for example, to Rod or to Jane or to Gretchen or to Ellie. Okay, so our first speaker is a local teacher. She is Miss Elizabeth Frills, and she's going to be teaching 7th grade science at the Highlands Intermediate School on Oahu, starting this school year. She is a STEM teacher in Hawaii who graduated with a BA in secondary science education and an MA in teaching natural sciences from the Tokyo Gakugei University. She is a 2016 PhilPro alumna and is currently the president of Mana Loa Nimitz Lions Club. She's passionate about community service projects and making a difference one day at a time. So Ellie has been very active in the social life of our J1 teachers, and she's going to talk to you more about that. Welcome, Ellie.
Hi, aloha everyone, and I'm so glad to join this event today. And so I'm going to be sharing some information and my role about why I am here. I'm actually a strong advocate for J1 teachers, helping them not just immersing themselves in our culture here in Hawaii, but as well as being a veteran teacher, I'm able to help them to overcome some obstacles or giving them advices that I can. And so most of the time, the J1 teachers can actually just call me anytime or would contact me via Facebook Messenger to talk about problems or issues or just chat or talk stories with me anytime they want. So I'm just a phone call away or a text. They can just text me anytime. And so the things that I'm passionate about is actually introducing them to the local community and doing community projects. Okay, so I'm going to be sharing some of the, what they have done last year. And I'm sharing my screen. Let's see if I can do that. Okay. Let's see. I think I'm okay. Let's see if I can see if you guys can see my presentation. Share first. Alrighty. Okay. Are you guys able to see?
Not yet, Ellie.
Not yet?
Yeah, not yet.
Okay. Alrighty. Okay, I'm trying to share my information, but okay, there you go. Okay, can you guys see it now?
Yes, we can see it now.
Okay, thank you. Alrighty, so what I do is I make sure that the J1 teachers have, they can go to different social functions and at the same time also do community service. But first and foremost, I am an FAUW board member. So I really care about the J1 teachers. So I make sure that also they take care of their mental health. Yes, self-love, self-care. And so as a FAUW member, we encourage them to join the different activities in the community. And so as you can see, we have different photos here, sharing Pasco with them, right? Also different like parties, going to different parties. Also, we invited them to go to a state dinner that also, this one strengthens community ties. Okay, just recently, July 4th, I took a couple of them and celebrate Independence Day, and majority of them that went there, that was their first time. So I took them to Pearl Harbor. Also during spring break, I took teachers to go on a sailing and then talk stories just to chill and hang out. Also, for this one, we have, I invited them to the Mana Loa Nimitz Lions Club activities, such as, the extraordinary fun at Pearl City, and also during Christmas parade at IAL. So that's it for me. If you have any questions later on, so you can let me know and I'll answer. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ellie. So now moving on to our next speaker. He will be introduced by Miss Mylene, um, who will be, okay, Mylene. Mylene is the president of the University of the Philippines Alumni Association of Hawai'i. Miss Mylene is a very active member of the community. She is a past president of the Filipino Association of University Women, who has been active in the welcoming of the J1 teachers. She's also a director of the Filipino Chamber of Commerce of Hawaii, and many more accolades. Mylene, please introduce our next speaker, Rodrigo Domingo.
Thank you, Rhoda. Good afternoon, everyone. Magandang hapon po to all of the Talk Story listeners and viewers. My name is Mylene Reyes, and I'm one of the HP Beck Board of Directors, and I'm here today to introduce one of the first batch of J1 teachers who arrived last year. His name is Rodrigo Domingo. I first met him actually on Maui a week after the Lahaina fire happened. So Kid and I were kind of the first responders to the 7 Lahaina teachers who were directly affected by the fire. And so we met Rod, and right away Rod became kind of like the spokesperson or the ombudsman of the J1 teachers on Maui. So Rod is a J1 science teacher at Baldwin High School. He serves as the advisor of the school's Filipino Bayanihan Club. So he is also the dance director and choreographer of the Naragsak dance troupe on Maui. So he graduated from the Pangasinan State University's Bayambang campus. Prior to coming to Hawaii, he taught at San Pedro Apartado National High School in Alcala, Pangasinan. So we are looking forward to hearing from Rod, his experience with the Lahaina fire, and also with being a J1 teacher on Maui. And Rod, thank you for joining us this afternoon.
Thank you very much, Ms. Mylene, for your introduction. So first and foremost, I would like to thank Dr. Ligaya and James for bringing us here in Hawaii. Thank you very much for helping J1 teachers, all the J1 teachers, to be here in Hawaii, because without you guys, we will not be here. So first, okay, so I prepared 10 tips for the J1 teachers, for the new J1 teachers to be prepared here in Hawaii, to teach the students here in Hawaii. So the first one is to embrace the culture. So as a teacher, they must be willing to take time to learn the Hawaiian culture, the Hawaiian language, for example, the basic ones like mahalo, thank you, malka, the mountains, pilau, that's bad, choke people, like that, for you to, relate with your students and for them to be close to you. And that's the second one, build relationship. Okay, so you must form a strong relationship with your colleagues, and at the same time your students and their families. How can you build a strong relationship with their families? For example, you call the parents for the improvement of your students, and how is it going in their class. Next one is to understand the education system. You should familiarize yourself with the curriculum that you are using in your school. For example, in science, we do the NGSS. So we have that in the science one. And then The next one, number 4, is be patient and adaptable. So transitioning to a new educational setting is or system is challenging, but if you are patient with yourself and at the same time, if you are willing to adapt to new teaching methods, that will be very helpful for you and that will help you to educate or to help your students more. Next, like what I said, you should learn basic Hawaiian phrases, okay? Because in that case, you are not just showing respect to the Hawaiian culture, but then you are also showing that you are willing to learn their culture. You are willing to immerse yourself with their culture. Like one time I have this experience, like I had to dance with the students and with their families because I was just walking on the park in Kipilani Park and um, I saw my students in there dancing hula, and then some of them are also dancing the Micronesian dances. So they invited me to, dance with them. So just be very approachable and at the same time be open, okay, for those involvement in the community. Next, that's number 6, get involved in the community. Don't just sit in your boarding houses, don't just sit in your classroom, be out, be with your community, meaning participate in local events and at the same time um, volunteer. Okay, so that's what I did. Thank you so much to Miss Keith for, helping me out. Like I always volunteer for all the activities that they are conducting here. Actually, I also volunteer to church. So for now, the priests are like looking for me to prepare the slideshow for their church events and everything, and for the golf tournament if they need help like that. And also for the Binhi at Ani, like I did the hosting of events. I do host events here in Maui. Like they love to be with you guys, meaning they need you. Like the are looking forward to what's was in it for these J1 teachers. What can they provide for the community? What can they help for the community? Okay, so it's not just us who need their help, but also them who needs our help, for everyone. Like next one, number 7, you should take care of yourself. Okay, so don't stress yourself. Just be relaxed. Keep physically and mentally active. Okay, and Hawaii offers a lot of food, like gastronomic delights. Like there are lots of foods here in Hawaii, but make sure also to look in your diet. Just like me, I just got my medical last month, and they said, "Oh, I have already high uric acid." Okay, but then just make sure to check always your health. Okay, number 8, use local resources, be local, like support also local products. Okay, like if you have like what do you call this, the swap meet, attend, like go swap meet. Those are local products. Okay, and I thought I'm thinking if the other islands also have that, but in here in Maui we have the swap meet, like they exchange products, like they go there in one area and then all of the products of Maui are in there. Okay, so that's it. And next, the next one is seek support when needed. We're not perfect. Okay, we also need help from others. Like for example, if you are in need of the materials and you're teaching for paraphernalia and everything, the materials that you need for your teaching, just seek help. Just when you need help, seek support. I would like to thank Miss Keith for helping us out here in Maui. Thank you so much for helping the J1 teachers here. Like she's giving us food and everything. Thank you so much. And I would like also to thank the community who is very willing to help the J1 teachers. Like they are providing some food also for us if we need food. And the last one is stay open-minded and positive. Okay, so if you have that positive character and positive attitude and behavior, like everything will be good. Like for example, you know the bar of life. If you have positive belief, positive action, you can have a positive result. So that's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rod.
Yeah.
So
I would like also to thank Auntie Rose Sharma. Thank you so much, Auntie. I learned a lot from you. And for guiding us also the J1.
So we'd like to thank Rod because not only is Rod a good teacher, but he's also a good student. He learned so many things and he learned them to share them with the new J1 teachers who may be listening. Okay, so
Yeah.
for those who are not aware what a J1 program is, the J1 is the J1 visa is issued by the Department of State for exchange visitors. And this is to promote the interchange of persons, knowledge, and skills in the fields of education, arts, and science. So it's a cultural, educational exchange of people uh, from another country to learn, to teach our culture and to learn from the culture of the host country. So in this case, Rod has shown that that's what he learned. He's teaching at the same time he is learning. So what a perfect example of the definition of the J1 being a successful exchange program. Moving on to our next speaker, she will be properly introduced by Ms. Kit Furukawa. Now, for those who do not know Kit, I don't know who would not know Kit because Kit is very active. In fact, this Zoom seminars from the time before the pandemic up to now are made possible because of Kit. So, Kit, can you please
Sure.
introduce Ms. Jane Caballero Clement?
Miss Jane is such a Wonder Woman herself. I'll briefly introduce her. She's the president of the Kona Visayan Club, one of the active organizations representing the large Filipino community in West Hawaii. Give me 1 second. I'm managing this Zoom as we speak. Her group recently welcomed the latest group of J1 teachers sent to the Big Island. So she's very active of taking care of them right now. Jane is currently the executive assistant and sister city protocol officer at the County of Hawaii. So this is her day job. And then after that, she works for the community. She's a member of the Filipino Educators Association in the Big Island, who have been advocates of the J1 teachers. She also most recently established a nonprofit, Philam Foundation of Hawaii, raised funds and was really a great support for the recovery of the Maui fire. So we really want to say mahalo to Jane. And she's organized golf tournaments, tennis tournaments, Taste of the Philippines. We all know Jane. So Jane, take it away. Go for it.
Aloha, thank you so much, Kit. Of course, who doesn't know Kit, right? She's also a superhero herself. Aloha, everybody. Magandang umaga, magandang gabi, magandang hapon, wherever you are. Mabuhay po kayong lahat. And how do I follow Rod's presentation? Oh my God, Rod, you are an amazing, amazing human. I think I just fell in love with you, with your presentation. Thank you so much for sharing that amazing, very helpful tips. And to Ellie as well, thank you so much for your presentation. And also a big mahalo to HP Beck for organizing and hosting these vital discussions in the community, not just about J1 teachers, but other important issues and concerns, in our community. I just wanted, Kit mentioned earlier that we recently hosted a welcome get together for the newly arrived J1 teachers here on Hawai'i Island. I wanted to share my screen real quick so you can see some of the photos. Hang on. Can you guys see that?
Yes, we can see.
So that was the afternoon of our get together over here in Kona. There were about 14 of them that we welcomed. And those are the people wearing lace, and that's me over here, and then some of the members of our Filipino community here in Kona. So the purpose of that get together is, of course, to welcome them to the Big Island, and also to introduce them to the Filipino community, because I think we cannot overstate the importance of a strong support system for these teachers. Relocating to a new place, especially one as unique as Hawaii and as unique as the Big Island, is presents numerous challenges. Here on Hawaii Island, our very geography is a challenge. Everything is so far, requires transportation, and we don't have a mass transit system here that's as frequent and as reliable as Oahu. So that is definitely one of the biggest issues that our J1 teachers face over here. Housing, of course, is another issue. We did have a discussion about this a few weeks ago with this group as well, because everything is so expensive, and there's not a whole lot of available housing in close proximity to where they are teaching. So again, housing and transportation become such a problem for us. But we are very, very thankful to our Filipino community here in Hawaii, and especially here on the Big Island. They have really gone above and beyond to help these teachers settle in. They provided rides to appointments and errands, and take them to their schools so they can prepare their classrooms. We offered them provisions and other basic kind of necessities to kind of get them settled into their new homes. Some of our family members even bought groceries for them. And that just really exemplifies the true spirit of Bayanihan and true spirit of aloha that we practice here in Hawaii. And we really appreciate the community for doing that. It is very important that I feel like it is our sort of a collective responsibility to make sure that these educators feel at home and well equipped to succeed in their new roles, because by doing so, we're not only helping them enrich their lives, we are also enhancing the educational experiences of our children here in Hawaii. And of course, their success is our success as well. So it is really incumbent upon us to provide support for these teachers. And I really am very proud that we have a very caring and welcoming and very supportive Filipino community here in Hawaii. And also want to thank all of the J1 teachers on this panel for sharing your experiences and for sharing your challenges with us. And together we can figure out how to best help you and support you, and develop some kind of a system so that the next group, the next cohort of teachers will not have to experience the same challenges as you folks did. Thank you.
Thank you, Jane. So Jane, basically through an aloha party, and the aloha was very much felt by everyone there, such that all islands now want to copy that pattern for throwing an aloha party. So you're going to give us that template, Jane, right? How to organize a great aloha party for our J1 teachers. So if we take care of the teachers, then the teachers will have the materials to help our students. So helping them really helps the kamaaina. So that's the whole point of the exchange. When we show our cultural value of helping them, even if we are outside the Philippines, then at the end of the day, we're helping the state of Hawaii with its goals of creating better citizens. Now, moving on to our next speaker, she will be properly introduced by Calvin. Now, Calvin Bagawisan is the present head of, where's Calvin? Here, Calvin is the present president. He's newly installed, brand new, of the Oahu Filipino Community Council, the OFCC, which is the federation of all civic organizations in the island of Oahu. And he's gonna introduce the next speaker. If you're familiar with the Shaka segment on TV, what channel is that, Calvin?
That Attorney Alvarez is KHON 2 News.
Yes, if you're familiar with the Shaka segment, it's Calvin who produces that. So hopefully if you see Calvin, he'll catch you and give you that moment on TV with your beautiful Shaka. So maybe we'll Shaka later after this for Calvin. Okay, Calvin, go ahead, introduce our next speaker.
Yeah, thank you, Attorney Alvarez and HP Beck for allowing me to speak today. And aloha to our J1 teachers in the Aloha State. I'm Calvin Baguisan again, the president of Oahu Filipino Community Council, or OFCC, on the island of Oahu. And briefly in OFCC, our community is strong with members of the Filipino diaspora in Hawaii and their children, much like myself. I'm the second generation of parents from Ba'ai Batak and Pauai Ilocos Norte. We have 45 organizations representing the various towns and cities throughout the Philippines. And within the broader community, you can expect to network and socialize directly with our community members throughout our yearly events. One of our biggest events actually is the Miss Oahu Filipino pageant. Yes, we have brought pageants. It's alive both in the Philippines and Hawaii. So I'm also grateful to be leading this along with fun dances and golf tournaments that we have throughout the year. So it's very exciting to see many of our community leaders here this evening or morning, wherever you are. But without further ado, I'd like to introduce our next speaker, Miss Gretchen Cacao. Gretchen Cacao teaches science at Waimea Middle School in Kauai. Prior to relocating to Kauai, she was a teacher for 13 years at San Pedro Apartado National High School in Pangasinan after graduating from Pangasinan State University. She reports that her husband was able to join her in Kauai last February, and there are plans for their children to join them in December under the J2 visa classification. So welcome, Ms. Gretchen Cacao.
Thank you so much. I remember I have a student with the same last name as yours. Last school year, yeah. Okay, aloha everyone. I'm Gretchen and I'm here in Kauai because Rodrigo and I were in the same school back in the Philippines. We're actually friends and we started our journey way back in our same school in the Philippines, having the same vision of going to Hawaii and experience the culture, and at the same time impart our knowledge with all the students here in Hawaii. So if I would have to describe my experience here in Hawaii, I would say that it is a very unique, I immerse myself in a very unique educational environment and have an enriching experience of teaching here in Hawaii. So if I could summarize my experience here, I would say I have encountered 5 aspects. Okay, first one is cultural diversity. So as I enter my classroom the first day, I could see that there are a lot of students that looks like me. And they've been asking me, Miss, are you a Filipino? And I said, yes. And they're so happy that they have a Filipino teacher. They've been asking me about my language and I told them I am Ilocano, and then I have a lot of Ilocano kids and they're just so happy until now. They're now in grade 9 and they keep on texting me. They keep on visiting me in school. Yes, this afternoon I have visitors coming from the high school go in my classroom. Those are my former students. It's if in terms of cultural diversity, since I've been teaching for 13 years in the Philippines and seeing those kids that looks like me, so it feels like home. So it seems like, oh, am I really in Hawaii or am I still in the Philippines? Okay, so aside from that, I have educational, it's something about the educational environment. It's really a different educational environment here. We are using a different we've been using different curriculums, just like in my 8th grade now, we're transitioning from Amplify into Open Sci-Ed. We're doing RTI, we are doing iReady. There's a lot of things to process, but as they say, Filipino never give up. Filipinos never give up. We never give up. When any struggles that we have and any hardships that we encounter, we never give up. And third one is about community involvement. I am so grateful with the Kauai Filipino community because they are so supportive. We have our meet and greet last year. They even have the fundraising, and since they learned that we have not yet our first salary before, they divided that fundraising and they give us money, which is $180 each of us. So we're very grateful to them, and it really feels like home because they made us feel that we are a part of the community. They tour us around. So I'm just very grateful. I see Uncle Randy is here. Thank you so much, Uncle Randy, and all the Kauai Filipino Community Council. Next one is professional growth. Okay, so in this part, there are a lot of professional development, and just recently, just last June, I went with other 4 colleagues in California, Napa Valley, California, and we attend the PBL Works, or the project-based learning in California. So there's a lot of professional development, professional trainings and seminars that we can attend to, more to adjust more, or to give more of to our students. And lastly, it is about personal experience. And in terms of personal experience, since we are here in Hawaii, there's a lot of landscapes, and I I would really enjoy the boat tour because the community gave us a free boat tour last June, and it is really and we're so grateful for them because that is expensive. That is 230 something dollars. So we're so grateful with the Filipino community here. And I have, and a lot of J1 teachers keep asking me, what is the process of getting your husband here or getting your J2 here in Hawaii? And I would say that you have to start with applying for a visa in the Philippines. Go apply for a visa, and then you have to ask AAG for, which is our visa sponsor for the DS 2019, or for a visa, and then just have to pay, and then pay for the ticket, and then just a short process. It's a very short process. When you have your visa, you can have your ticket just like that. And then, but if you're here, you have to process your employment authorization card, and that would take you 3 months to process. And after that, if you have that, you can work anywhere. So basically, that is my experience here. I'm so glad that I am here. I'm so happy that I joined this top story today. That would be all. Thank you.
Thank you, Gretchen. Thank you for sharing your experience. We're happy that you're reunited with your family in paradise. The Philippines, as you know, has been identified as an island paradise, but you just transported your whole family to another island paradise. So who can complain? I'm sure not Gretchen. Okay, so for those who are trying to get their families over here, or for those who want to join our J1 teachers over here, thank you for tuning in. The next speaker will be introduced by Miss Evelyn Liana. Hi, Evelyn. So Evelyn is a past president of the Filipino Association of University Women. The Filipino Association of University Women, or FAUW, is one of the first organizations that approached James Urbaniak, the lead recruiter and talent manager of the Department of Education of the state of Hawaii, who is there right in the middle of our screens, to help with the J1 program. So right now, this J1 program of the state of Hawaii has become a standing committee in FAUW, and that's currently headed by Evelyn Liana, who will introduce our next speaker. Take it away, Evelyn.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you. I have the pleasure of introducing Chachi Abara. She's been responsible for devising a teacher survey that we presented to the new teachers that came in earlier this month. Now, we wanted to explore what the teachers really were wanting to learn at the forefront about their educational responsibilities here in Hawaii. So Chachi did a survey, and that is what she's going to be introducing the results of the survey. Let me tell you a little about Chachi. Chachi has a BA in psychology, and her concentration is cultural psychology. She has two majors, psychology and Philippine literature and language. And her major in the language is Ilocano. She enjoys working with minorities and is a mental health advocate. She chairs the Filipino Mental Health Initiative of Hawaii. So Chachi, she also has other info regarding herself on the slides that she'll be presenting. So Chachi, please share the survey results.
Yes, thank you, Tita. Thank you, everyone. It was a pleasure getting to hear a lot of like the former teachers, especially their experience to this outreach. I will be sharing my screen. Let me see. Okay, so this is the results of the needs-based assessment that I conducted this past month. And I created this survey because I really see that with our J1 teachers, I wanted them to have support, especially since this is the first time or second time coming and to have the familiarity of like what they need. So thank you, Tita Evelyn, for introducing me. So this is me. I'm an Ilocano immigrant from Luwag City, Ilocos Norte. I'm born in the Philippines and raised until the age of 8, then migrated here where I've lived ever since. I am a mental health advocate, linguist enthusiast, and community wellness coach. The purpose of this survey is to gather information on various aspects of the J1's teachings journey from the Philippines. So this survey kind of includes teaching environment, professional development, curriculum and instruction, school leadership, and student engagement, which ties into mental health. So a lot of this survey, the answers comes from their responses. So one of the questions that we asked, or I asked, is what aspects was unfamiliar to you in the process in the application? And I chose 3 answers that stood out to me, which was 1, Hawaii students and cultural understand of the ethnic makeup in Hawaii. Second one is they were not familiar with the language and the history here in Hawaii. And then number 3 is like the replacement of identity. In terms of how is the ethnic makeup, especially with the different islands, and what to expect. Another question that I wanted to highlight is what kind of support do you want? And most of the teachers actually wanted more workshops and webinars on classroom management training. And another teacher wrote on the behavioral aspect of the learners for us to deal and cope with the issues that may be arise inside the classroom setting. That's one question. That's the second question. The third question that I wanted to highlight is their expectation out of this program. I had one teacher said to share about their Filipino culture and learn about Hawaii's culture. And listening to the previous panelists on this call, I really appreciated Kuya Rod, how you really got involved with the activities in Maui, and I think that really uh, got a lot of really appreciation of everyone. And then with think it was Manang Gretchen as well, like having a student see someone who looks like you. I think that's really reassuring for a lot of students. So I think that was really great. Another teacher wrote on the survey, as a J1 teacher, it is expected that we being the culture of our country, Philippines, to the schools where we will be teaching, this might be a challenging part, but having a support system from our heads will help us meet the expected outcomes from our executives and principals. And then the last teacher that I will highlight is to develop professional and become culturally aware of the diverse background. Okay, next one kind of goes with the last slide with the questions, which is the implementation. I also pulled another 3 responses from the teachers. The 4 teachers said they want more content, courses, workshops, mentoring, peer observation, and coaching. Another teacher said, can we have more conference seminars? And the 6th teacher that I pulled out her answer is qualification program, basically more mentoring. The last thing that I will present is survey the graphs of 2 questions that I had kind of like a strongly and agree and disagree is on the left side of the presentation I put. Would you say you are familiar with the history and the cultural context of the Philippines? Which 56 of them said yes, and then 44 says strongly agree. So that's really good. And then the on this side of the screen where I'm pointing is, would you say you are familiar with the history and the ethnic identity of Hawaii? 8.2% said strongly disagree, 41 said no disagree, and then 49 said agree. And I think kind of like the conclusion of it all is like I acknowledge that a lot of the J1 teachers want to learn more about the history of Hawaii and a lot of the ethnic identity, especially when going into the classroom, what kind of students they will kind of meet and learn a lot of like more classroom management. Before ending, I do want to share, I did a solo project on my own when I was able to meet with the J1 teachers when they first came. And it is a solo project. I did a supply drive where I was able to contact a lot of the J1 teachers here in Oahu and Maui. So recently I did a supply drive and that I held on my social media, and I had a lot of people donate monetary and also material. So I am working and sending it to Maui, hopefully the other islands too, but I just had most Maui teachers. So this is the supplies that I sent, and then I met up with one of the teachers here in Oahu to give a lot of the donation that I had. So thank you so much. Agyaman naklaunay, daghang salamat. Thank you.
Thank you, Chachi. So what's that saying? You can't take the you might take the person out of the Philippines, but you can't take the Philippines out of the person. Well, with this Filipino trait, not only bayanihan, but hospitality, like you love having a guest. Some cultures don't like having guests, but Filipinos love having guests. In fact, they throw parties, aloha parties, they fundraise for guests. Now, that's a unique, I'm not sure if that's a unique Filipino culture, but I'd say it's unique because I'm not sure what other culture does that. Anyway, I still have a lot to learn, but Chachi definitely with her solo project and with her group project, just is an example of that Filipino hospitality that you can take out of her. So I just like to say that there's so many in our talk story session today. I'd like to acknowledge the participation of James Urbaniak, again, that talent manager. Is that the correct term, James? He's the DOE lead recruiter that made this possible because of his love for the Philippines, which goes in many ways. Next, we want to acknowledge the presence of Miss Ligaya Avenida of the Foreign Cultural Exchange Consultants. So there's Ligaya. And then we also want to recognize the presence and participation of the staff from Petrophil Manpower Services. If Joy Del Rosario is here, hi Joy. If not, she said she's going to send her competent and able staff that made all of this possible. So I can see Prince waving there. Petrophil people, Manpower, who brought all this people here, please wave and be recognized. Thank you for being here. I can see a lot of educators here, former educators. Okay, so moving on, we have a very interesting next guest who will be introduced by the powerhouse and power horse of HP Beck, who is no other than architect, an philanthropist, former executive director of the Philcom Center, former president of the Filipino Chamber of Commerce, and she's very helpful. She puts all of us together. How about I just say that? Rose, thanks for having all of us here. This is your brainchild. Please introduce our next speaker. We can't hear you. Please unmute.
Unmute yourself.
Yes. Thank you, Rhoda, for that crazy introduction. But anyway, last Sunday or one Sunday, when Jeff was on vacation here in Hawaii, I met him in a picnic at Ala Moana Park. And it turns out that he was a J1 advocate in, of all places, North Dakota. And he's there now. He's back getting ready for the school year. So, and he called me today to say, yeah, I have time. I will be before his 7-hour trip to another town in North Dakota. But Jefferson Hofeld is going into his 10th year of teaching for Williston Basin School District in North Dakota. He's also the International Teachers Coordinator for the district. And he is here today to share his experiences in that state, because apparently the J1 is all over the US now. And I was just so surprised that North Dakota even has it. So, Jeff, could you share with us some of your experiences? Because you were a J1 teacher at one point when you first came to the US, right?
Yes, Tita Rose, and thank you so much for this opportunity. It's great to meet everybody on this Zoom call. Like Tita Rose said, my name is Jefferson Hofield, and I am the International Teachers Coordinator for Williston Basin School District 7. And just a little bit of information about me. I grew up both of my parents are from the northern part of the Philippines, so I am pure Ilocano. And my mom being partly Japanese, I also lived in Japan for about 5 years prior to moving to America. So if we have teachers who are still in the Philippines who will be coming to America in Hawaii for this coming school year, you might want to grab a pen and paper, because I'm pretty sure that all of this information that I will be sharing will be helpful in your transition here. So I'd like to talk about some of the most important things that I cover when I facilitate the J1 teachers orientation and monthly check-ins throughout the school year. And there are a lot of topics that we cover, but because of the time constraints, I'd only be able to talk about some of them. So first and foremost, I would encourage everybody to read your teacher's manual or the negotiated agreement between the school board and your educators association, just because it is very important for you guys to know your job descriptions, your leaves, benefits, for example. All of these information will be in that specific document. And I would like to talk about mistakes teachers usually make that could definitely be avoided. For example, never start your class with a prayer. Otherwise, you will have a lot of parents complaining about that. And the reason why is because here in America, everybody has the freedom to practice any religion or not practice religion at all. And I don't know, it might be a case-to-case basis, but because out of habit, some teachers would from the Philippines would do it. But in our district, for example, last October, we had a teacher who came in late under the J1 program. And so she was not able to attend my first orientation at the beginning of the school year. And on her first day, she actually asked her students to stand up and specifically asked somebody to lead the prayer. And the following day, we received a lot of complaints from parents because of that. So please don't do that. One tip that I can give you is that never talk to students in sentence fragments. Make sure to get your message across clearly so students can understand you, because students will not listen to you if they cannot understand what you're saying. And we've also had cases of teachers, and just for the sake of argument, we know that all of you, especially those who had already been hired to come here, you are all great teachers, all right? We believe that, we know what you are capable of. But once you are here, just make sure that when you are talking to your students, make sure that you are getting your message across. Otherwise, if your students do not understand or cannot understand you, that's actually when we can see behavior concerns rise. And that's going to be a big problem. So research for classroom management strategies that work for American classrooms. There are a lot of resources on the internet, and I say this because your classroom management styles in the Philippines might actually not work here because American students are entirely a different ballgame. I can assure you that. And just like what Miss Ellie and Rod said earlier, you have to build those good relationships with your students, because students wouldn't want to come to school and learn if they don't like their students, right? So build those relationships. Learn the demographics of your town or city that you are assigned to, even the demographics or culture of the entire state, because that will definitely help you a lot in understanding your students and building those good relationships. Teaching wise, I would say learn to use all of the available resources in your building so you know when and how to integrate those resources into your lessons. Students love to learn when your lessons are not monotonous and boring. So a good example, I'd say, is not just the resources like, let's say, robots, coding robots, for example, or your technological resources, but the people as well. So for example, try to get in touch with your librarians if you have a librarian in your building, and do some collaborative teaching. For example, I am currently working as a library and media specialist at the K-4 building, and I usually do collaborative work with all of the teachers at all grade levels in my school when teaching research. So for example, I would teach the students how to pick their resources, how to pick credible resources online and printed resources when conducting the research. And I teach them citation so that the teachers can actually focus on the writing aspect of research. So get in touch with your librarians and even ask them if they have like resources in the library that you can actually use in your classrooms. So moving forward, I would like to talk about benefits for just a little bit. I would encourage everybody to get medical, vision, and dental insurances, just because health services here are very expensive. Now, you can also get in touch with your agency and ask them if they will let you just opt for the medical insurance provided by your school district, because AAG was my, I believe that AAG is your agency for the district. AAG was also my agency, my DS 2019 sponsor, and they actually let me just get the health insurance or medical insurance provided by my district, because some agencies will actually tell you that you should get the medical and health insurance from them. And then if you want to avail of the health insurance provided by the district, then you can do so. But then you would be paying double, if that makes sense. So moving forward, special education services. If you are coming to America to work as a general education teacher, please make sure to train yourself on how to interpret data and information on an IEP or individualized educational plan. Ask your case managers in your building. It could be a SPED teacher, SLP, or speech language pathologist, occupational therapist, and sometimes teacher for the blind or teacher for the deaf. Okay, ask for help on how to interpret those data. The reason why I am telling you this is because an IEP is actually a legally binding agreement between stakeholders, all stakeholders, specifically, or especially, I should say, the student, the parents, and the school district, and the entire state. So make sure to focus on those accommodations listed on the IEP and provide those accommodations to your students. I cannot stress the importance of this because schools across America are getting sued by parents because of teachers not providing these accommodations listed on their students' IEPs. Now, never go to IEP meetings or parent-teacher conferences unprepared. Please, you need to make sure that you have all of your data and you know how to interpret them in case other stakeholders or parents have any questions. If you are a SPED teacher, if you're coming here as a SPED teacher, once you are here, learn how to use the evaluation or testing materials because you will be testing students yourself in order for them to qualify for an IEP. Because in the Philippines, I know that SPED teachers do not actually conduct or facilitate those testings, but students are referred to developmental pedias for the assessments. But here in America, you will conduct the testing yourself. So be prepared to learn on how to use those evaluation and testing materials. And be a data-driven teacher. Learn your district's policy when it comes to logging student behaviors. All right, just so you have those data when parents ask questions. Another thing that I would like to talk about is the social media use. If at any point under your program, you get attacked by, let's say, parents or citizens on social media, please do not engage and let your communication director of the district handle it. And also learn to use these social media platforms properly. Tax. I would encourage everybody to review Publication 519 published by the IRS and focus on the tax treaty between the US and the Philippines for teachers on page 90. And this is the version 2023. It should be on page 90. And the reason for this is because a lot of teachers or J1 teachers think that they are exempted from paying federal taxes. That is not true. All right. You will only be exempted if your program is not going to go over 2 years, 2 tax years. So if your initial program is 3 years on your DS 2019 and you actually intend to finish those 3 years, then you are not exempted from paying federal taxes. However, I would encourage you to get in touch with your HR or payroll officers and ask them to research on the Medicare and Social Security, because I think up to this day, J1 teachers are exempted from paying Social Security and Medicare taxes for the first 2 tax years. So to piggyback on Miss Ellie and Rodrigo's presentation earlier, I am so glad that you guys are doing those cultural activities, because every J1 teacher should be on track when it comes to their cultural activities, because at the end of your program every year, your agency is going to require you to write a narrative about your cultural activities that you did during the school year, and that will be a requirement for you to renew your DS 2019. So that's all I have for now.
That's a lot. Okay, so what we might take away from Jeff's talk is the teachers have a lot to learn, and that's part of the process. So I'm glad that you're discussing the legalities and not just the cultural aspect of the exchange program, because in the United States is a stickler for following rules. So for all of those teachers who are here tuning in, um, it is your responsibility to educate yourself and understand that maybe not all aspects can be provided to you by the J1 sponsor, but nevertheless, it is your responsibility as anyone else who is an immigrant to know what are the laws where I'm at, and what should I be doing? And in the United States, there's state laws and there's federal laws. So those are not the same. So there's state taxation rules and then there's federal taxation rules. And what should you be learning? So this is another assignment for our teachers, Jeff.
Yes.
And so
And
Jeff, a
yeah,
veteran, so he has evolved. So Jeff is right now working as a coordinator, right, Jeff?
yes, Miss Rhoda. And don't worry, because I am going to curate like a list of resources that I will be sending to Tita Rose so that she can disseminate that information to all of your J1s. And they could just go through these websites and articles so they can read these resources for themselves.
Thank you, Jeff. So we're very happy.
You're welcome, Pa.
Us, because it doesn't just leave this discussion in the state of Hawaii, but we've expanded it to the larger to the mainland teaching community where you are an advocate. And we're happy that the teachers are everywhere, not only in the state of Hawaii, but more importantly, they have been everywhere ahead of Hawaii. So we're happy to learn from you. Okay, so now we're open.
Tita, Miss Rhoda, because Jane actually asked our clarification. Are teachers considered immigrants under the visa program? This is what I am going to advise you, okay? Because I am not a tax expert. Everything that I shared is actually based on my experience and all of the experiences of the J1 in our school district. But this is what I am going to advise you. When during tax season, you need to seek the help of a tax expert. And when you go to a tax expert, I need you to give them two information and ask them to do one important thing. These are the two pieces of information that you need to give them. I am a J1 teacher. You have to specify that you are a teacher because J1 is a big umbrella of different programs. Now, you are going to tell your tax preparer, I am a J1 teacher, and my initial program is 3 years if it is 3 years, and I intend to finish that. And the next thing that you are going to tell them is, please go to the IRS publication 519 if they are not familiar, because we've been to some tax experts, like from H&R Block, for example, who did not know anything about the J1 taxation. And so they had to review the IRS publication 519, where it specifically states that you will only be exempted if you are not here for more than 2 tax years, if you are a Filipino. So bottom line, you need to seek the help of a tax expert and you give them those information about you during tax season.
Okay, so let's now open the chat room, the chat corner of our screens for questions. So if you have specific people you want to address your question to, please write to Jeff so that Jeff knows that that question is for him. So I see here that somebody asked a question to James, and James has answered. Oh, actually, yeah, so James is explaining. James, would you like to say something about your post? That
Sorry,
the
everyone.
part of the orientation is to touch on all of this, but
Yeah, we thanks everyone. Thanks for having me. Yeah, like Jeff mentioned, I'm sure like he does at his orientations, we provide our J1 teachers with a comprehensive overview of all of their benefits as new employees here to the DOE in Hawaii. And so a couple things, we do cover information about their healthcare insurance, how to get access to that, discussing the different plans that are available to them. You know, and as most of you can imagine, this is not just a one-time kind of here's the info. We are in daily communication, as our J1 teachers know, on our Facebook group chat. Sometimes probably more than they would like, but you know, we try to provide them with all the information multiple times so that they know what healthcare plans. Also, they're really fortunate that for our J1 visa sponsor, which is Alliance Abroad Group, as part of the process of our J1 teachers coming to Hawaii, all of them sign a variety of different contracts and pieces of information. And in that contract, they do cover the tax preparer that the teachers can use, which you know, is familiar with their you know, their non-resident and non-resident alien status. And the school district here, we're familiar with all of those policies and rules, and we're withholding the correct amount of taxes for them. So yeah, we have a pretty comprehensive support system, but these are great questions.
okay, see, we have a question here whether the J1 teachers are immigrants. I'd like to answer that question, being an immigration attorney and an immigration attorney. So the J1 program is a non-immigrant program. It's limited in time and scope, and so there is an obligation to return to the Philippines under the program. So it's basically a cultural exchange. So having said that, it is not an immigrant program, but a non-immigrant program. There are opportunities to become an immigrant under the J1 program, but it is not going to be a direct conversion. The Philippines has an office called Commission on Filipinos Overseas that would like to take care of the Filipino in the diaspora. That means even if we're not in the Philippines, they're trying to control how the Filipinos outside the Philippines are able to exercise their rights. So in this case, they would like the Filipinos who are in J1 programs, particularly in certain industries that are restricted, to return to the Philippines after their, in this case, cultural exchange, because the Philippines would like to learn from all this experience that all the J1 teachers have assimilated, or imagine they're now international teachers when they go back. So who would not want an international teacher in Lawag, in La Union, or in the Visayas? So that's the wealth of experience that our J1 teachers are bringing back home with them, that the Filipinos welcome under the helm of the Commission on Filipinos Overseas. Which is to say that when the J1 teachers are here and they would like to be released from the restriction, that the Commission on Filipinos Overseas will not release them to be immigrants after their J1 program. Because to do that, they would have to obtain a no objection letter from the Commission on Filipinos Overseas for CFO not to object to them staying here as J1. So in other words, can they stay here after their contracts? That would make them out of status and undocumented aliens. And in Filipino parlance, that would be tago ng tago. So we don't want the J1 teachers to be in that category, but we would like for them, if they wanted to explore opportunities to stay, to do it legally. Okay. There's a question here from Brother Alan Paking. How many years is the usual J1 visa? Who would like to answer this question?
Tita Rhoda, I can answer that. So initially, on your first DS 2019, the initial program is 3 years. And then after your third year, if your school district would want to keep sponsoring you, then you are allowed to extend that for another 2 years for a maximum of 5 years. And then you have to go home and spend your 2-year home residency in the Philippines before you can come back. And you can come back under the same program, or you can opt for a different kind of visa after that.
I have a question. So, my understanding is the teachers are under a contract. What happens if they become homesick or they become sick or they don't want to live in the US and they want to back out from their contracts? Is there a penalty for breaking this contract? Who would like to answer that? James, is that something for you?
So in terms of answering the question about if the J1s feel homesick or they want to leave, so just like any teacher that works for us, they are free to come and go as they please. We have the Department of Education doesn't impose any kind of penalties on teachers who may feel like they want to leave. We've been doing this program for about 4-5 years now, and our teachers have always stayed the entire time of their journey. So, not to say that we won't possibly have that one in the future, but because, there's always that possibility, but there is no penalty fee on our end if the teacher decides to return home. And if Hawaii isn't the place for those teachers, if they decide they want to go to another location, we're happy to help them continue their cultural exchange in another state. But word has spread about how great it is here in Hawaii, and this year we've taken on about maybe 15 to 20 new transfer teachers from other U.S. states. Sorry, Jeff. Hopefully we won't get any of your North Dakota or folks, but we do offer some great incentives to work and teach and relocate here to Hawaii. And so, we're actually getting people coming in. So we haven't dealt with that issue.
Well, James, how about you send me those incentives on an email and see if, I might actually consider moving to Hawaii.
Sounds good.
So if they want to apply for a transfer to another state, who do they apply with? Do they apply with the state or with the sponsor?
Great question. So our J1 teachers, they're all sponsored they have a visa sponsor, and our teachers here in Hawaii works exclusively with the Alliance Abroad group, which is our J1 visa sponsor here in Hawaii. We have a sole contract with Alliance Abroad, and we're very proud of that agreement. And they use a fantastic agency based in the Philippines, who we're joined with here today, both based in Hawaii, in Manila and Makati, as well as in California. We have Dr. Lagaya, Avenida, her team Prince, and some others. So if specifically to the Hawaii State Department of Education, if teachers are looking to transfer to, let's say, another state, we have a full support team available to those teachers, whether it be the staff in Manila or Dr. Avenida's office in California. They just need to notify someone that they'd like to transfer, and we want to make sure that they're happy and safe, and that they really want to be able to continue their cultural exchange, and really with the ultimate goal of the Philippines ultimately benefiting after their exchange, right, and coming back home to share their new knowledge with the kids there.
So we're waiting for questions in the chat.
No, I do have a follow-up questions to James. These teachers follow the same schedule as our regular teachers here. So during the summer or a Christmas break or spring break, if they choose to go back home to see family, they can freely do that.
Absolutely. I will say this, and I know Jeff probably wants to jump in on that too, is that you do have to seek approval to leave the country and have your DS 2019 updated. So there are some rules, just to make sure that you can get back in and forth just because of the status. But yeah, absolutely. What I think is phenomenal and remarkable, and I know our other J1 teachers on this call can comment on it. The first year is always a struggle. There's some financial, loans that our teachers do take in order to be part of this program. Just moving to a new place is always a financial challenge. But I was thrilled to see the teachers during the holidays traveling back to the Philippines, this summer touring the United States, enjoying their time. So yeah, they're able to travel freely across the United States at any time, and also back home.
We have used our time wisely, folks. If you haven't checked the clock, we've been at it for 1 hour and 25 minutes. So we're the last 5 minutes. So if you have your questions, you can put them in the chat or you can voice them out.
Yeah. Rhoda, I have a question, a follow-up question to Jane's question. Okay. Anyway, James, I know they are I mean, if they want to go back to the Philippines, of course, they have to pay their own fare and everything else. But are they allowed? I'm not sure if this is the right question, but are they allowed to, because of the visa that they have, they can have a part-time job and kind of earn some money to kind of like help them pay for their loans or anything like that? Are they able to seek another employment or not at all?
James, you're muted.
James, you're muted.
Oh, that's the worst. Okay. So the quick answer to that is no. However, couple things I want to address. Number one is we're really thankful here in Hawaii that we do provide our teachers with after school opportunities to tutor and be involved in clubs activities, which pay up to about $42 an hour, which is our part-time teacher rate, which is our after school rate. So I know our teachers are actively taking advantage of that. I know our friend Rod on the call is involved in so many community groups and activities that he does not take advantage of that because he's donating his time and energy. So Rod, kudos to you. I know you're really being out there in the community, but our teachers are able to avail those types of after school work only if they're paid by the school district, right? And so we again, our visa sponsor, myself, we definitely make sure we tell their teachers that. What I will also say is that next year in Hawaii, we will be increasing our relocation incentive, which will have a direct impact on our international teachers. So we're finalizing our details. Currently, we offer a $3,000 relocation incentive for teachers that directly helps offset the financial costs. We're almost at the final stages of approving that, increasing to about $5,000 for next school year, which would cover, I think, most of the fees that are associated with this program. So we're really excited. We're working on some of the things to kind of help ease the burden for our J1 teachers, especially for next school year.
So, James, I have a question for you. So, what's your feedback, or what have you received as feedback by way of how the teachers are teaching? How are they doing at their job? Can you share that with the group?
Yeah, absolutely. So we were very fortunate. We went across the entire island, state this spring, and met with many of you on the call. And I can't do this without our community group. So, salamat po to all of you for helping with this. We definitely need all of you. And we met with our principals, we met with the community members, and we haven't had a single complaint about our J1 teachers from the community, our parents. Our principals have said not one parent complained about our teachers. They have done exceptionally well. They know what they need to work on. Their classroom management is a struggle. Teaching American children are very different than the children in the Philippines. So, and that's not just for our Filipino teachers, that's for all teachers coming into the teaching profession. Classroom management is always a struggle. And Hawaii is a very diverse and unique place. So any educator that comes into the islands that may not be from here originally has those challenges. But our teachers have done extremely well. Those that have struggled have sought opportunities elsewhere in their cultural exchange. And that's the beauty of this program. If Hawaii may not be their place, we're happy to find them a place outside of Hawaii that will allow them to continue on with their journey. But yeah.
My last question is, before we end, is it too early to say that the J1 program is a success? Now, who wants to answer that? Ligaya, you want to take a stab at that? Please unmute yourself. Ligaya, please unmute. Oh, we can't hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I think our indicator for whether it's success or not is the retention rate. And that's what we look for when school districts retain their teachers year after year and goes all the way to the fifth year. That to me is a reason for a success. So that's a great indicator, because the actual measure really is whether or not they do well in the schools, they teach the children, they're able to adapt, and they meet the standards. So I think there's no better indicator. And I have been doing this for many years. And overall, I think in every school district, we have some fallouts, but I think the retention rate for every school district probably is in the 85–90% of the teachers that come over have either kept and returned home simply because they like to go home. A lot of them would like to stay. But in terms of staying connected with the school and continuing on with their teaching, that's about how high it is as far as with the teachers that we get involved with.
Okay, so thank you for that. James, you want to say something about that as well?
Yeah, I would just say, this program has been a tremendous success. And I want to echo what the teachers have said from the beginning. We started this program in Hawaii because we wanted our Filipino children, our children that come here, to be able to look up in front of them and see an educator that reflects their family, their culture, their community. And that for us, that is a very powerful. Education research shows time and again that when you have diverse educators in front of our kids, all kids succeed. And so we know the program is a success. Our school superintendent, Keith Hayashi, as well as our assistant superintendent, Sean Bacon, for talent management, if we had the ability to take more teachers from this program, we would. But we're only limited to about 100 every year. We will be in the Philippines next month doing recruitment for the 25-26 school year. And so be on the lookout. If you are interested in being part of this program in Hawaii, we would love to meet with you. But you got to contact our good friends at FCEC. And so Prince on this call, as well as his team, like Dr. Lagaya, I'm going to put their email in the chat. If you know anyone that is interested in being part of this program, please reach out to FCEC directly. Their email address is fcec.teachers@gmail.com. You need to reach out to them, send them your resume, your transcripts, and they will help screen you, make sure that you're a qualified candidate for this program. And we will see you in the Philippines in about a month. For those of you who are there, we'd love to meet with you. So please spread the word.
James, I have one more question. This one came from FB, Facebook. So the question is, what would be examples of breach of contract? Are they allowed to marry while in contract? What happens when they get pregnant? Do they have to go home?
That's a really great question. And all of those types of situations that do come up are supported with a 24-hour phone, email contact line through our visa sponsor, Alliance Abroad Group. So if those types of situations do arise, becoming pregnant is not a disqualifier for you to be removed from a program, right? Or having a life situation. We just ask that our teachers are, of course, upfront about what's going on, and to, reach out to the various support teams. Our goal here is to keep our teachers employed and part of this program. We're not looking for ways and opportunities for them to be removed. But we have the necessary supports for them, and life situations that come up. And we're just so excited that so many of them are bringing their families and kids and reuniting and adding to the social fabric here in Hawaii. That's what makes it a special place to live and work for us.
So for everyone who's been here from the beginning, we're happy that you're here. For all of those who are interested in the program, James has just explained the next round of recruitment, when it will happen, how they will be recruiting. And if you're not sure how the chat messages can be saved, because there's a wealth of information on the chat box on, there you go. There's the James just posted the email for applicants who want to apply. And James, can you put the support group just so they know if they don't know it yet? if they run into problems, how to contact the visa sponsor or the proper person in the Department of Education in the state of Hawaii.
Yeah, they can absolutely just reach out to me and I will connect them. We have, for our J1 visa teachers, we have a specific individual that is assigned to Hawaii to support them. So, just to make sure that we can kind of keep that email private. I know we have thousands of people possibly watching this video. Have them email me and I'll be happy to get that over to our contact there.
Okay, folks, so that's another reason to tune in to the next episode of Season 4 of the HPBEC or Hawaii Philippine Business Economic Council Talk Story series. I'd like to thank everyone who's here to Rose Churma for bringing this community together, and to Rose Mendoza for being our executive director and directing everything here, to Kit and everyone, the speakers, the guests, the introducers, the sponsors, and everyone else who might be wanting to share this video. This talk story is saved and it can be shared with your friends. For those who missed it live, they can view it at the HPBEC website. Okay? Until next time, Apo, aloha, Diyos tingina, ti panagbuyag. Thank you for watching. Until we meet again, aloha.
Maraming
Hi,
salamat.
everybody. Thank you so much.
Aloha.
Thank you so much.
Mahalo.
Maraming salamat po. Thank you, Miss Rhoda. You did such a great job. And James, a lot of information to all our panelists. So much information. And I'm hoping that everyone have learned. Of course, as our moderator said, you can go back to the Facebook of actually HPBEC and watch it again so you can get more information. But I'm truly grateful for all the panelists, all our J1 teachers, our Visa Joy and Ligaya, James, our moderator, and of course, HPBEC. I truly want to say thank you to Rose Chuma for really, this is her baby of HPBEC of doing the talk story. And I'm just here to be very supportive of her, and HPBEC can support any community. And one of the biggest questions and people are asking is these J1 teachers and of course the workforce, and Filipino Chamber of Commerce is now really collaborating with HPBEC to kind of like look into different industries, not just Department of Education, but also different industries. So hopefully we can help the community that way. And that's what HPBEC is all about. So we want to say maraming salamat po for tuning in and for staying with us for an hour and a half. 1 hour and a half went by so fast because there was so much information. Jefferson, all the way from North Dakota. God had really pushed you to meet Rose Churma for you to be able to share your experience all the way from North Dakota and the years that you have been with the J1 teachers. So maraming salamat. Maraming salamat to all of you. James, good luck. Mid-September, once again, is the recruitment time. And if you want to know more of how to get the information, please email Rose Churma or email hpbeckemail@gmail.com. Okay, so until next time, everyone, we say aloha, buhay. Maraming salamat po.
Mahalo.
Mahalo.
Thank you. Okay, how do we end?
You just leave. Rose, thank you, Rose. I'm on my way to the HP. I
Oh,
mean to
sige, good
SCCH.
luck, Rose. Good
I
luck.
know. So
Bye-bye.
I'll call you after, and then we'll talk about what happens on Sunday. Okay?
Oh, sige. Okay.
Sige. Salamat. Paalam na. Bye-bye.
Yep.